Hi, I'm Russ, CEO of RTI Group Companies. 7 years ago, we set out to build the world's largest private network, a neutral network that spans 33,000 kilometers of owned cable, and we set out to have a lot of fun doing it. Behind me is Poseidon. Poseidon looks after the safety of the people that install cables, groups of people around the world that make this world a better place. You know, working at this company and starting this company in 2013, it has been my single greatest privilege to work with amazing people. Light attracts light. People want to do business with us because we do business differently. We want to work with companies. We want to make it easy to do business with us. So, you know, part of being easy to do business with is having fun. When you think about cables and what it takes to build a cable, you've got these multiple simultaneous processes that are going on. Now, you would think this is a technology business, but it's not. This business is about people, and to get all of the piece parts together, to get the permits and to get the people on the vessel to take it out to the ocean and then lay it on the ocean floor and make sure that runs perfectly, and then to have it work once you get the permits at the very end. If you do get the permits, it's just a miracle.
It's exciting, it's thrilling. You love to be part of something that's new. We're doing things that have never been done. Private companies doing the kinds of things we're doing now, it's never been done. So how can you not love being a part of that? Sure, it comes with headaches. It's a lot of travel. I've never worked more hours, never gone longer without a day off, but I've never had more fun.
When we turn up these giant pipes that are used for innovation, some of it we can see and some of it we can't. But for the entrepreneurs, the smaller companies, I love working with them, and I stay in touch with many of the CEOs. We do 1-hour meetings, sometimes on a weekly basis. And really what we do is we draw ideas from each other.
RTI Cable was really it was an interesting thing for us because we just assumed that everyone would be already into the cable, that all the big carriers would be jumping at the opportunity. But I think what I've learned the longer I've been in this industry, in this telco industry in Australia, is that things take a long time to happen, right? And the bigger you are, generally the longer things take to happen. We're a new challenger telco, and that's what we're doing. We are trying to change the status quo. And I think for us, we never thought we'd be able to deal with RTI directly at all. And you know, the telco industry here in Australia, and I think in the world as well, can be quite dog eat dog. And RTI was completely different. They were completely open to working with us. First of all, they tried to understand what we were trying to do, which was very different, particularly for someone with such a big subsea cable network and you know, quite a very successful company. But they first of all wanted to understand what we were going to do, and then how they can help us do that. To do something that no one's ever really done before in gaming. From Australia, you know, so we've had to be quite. We're doing a lot remote, and RTI have opened doors for us. They've been super helpful at all the locations that the cable is landing, and they really want us to succeed, and that's been incredible. And so I think, you know, a lot of the time you see people out there talking about where, you know, we're standing up for the little guy, we're doing things to help the little guys, we're trying to bring innovation. But it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it. And I think what I've loved about RTI is they really walk their talk. And generally what I've noticed about them too is they walk first and then they talk, which is awesome. And it's also allowed us to, you know, fill a need that's a need right now, which is connectivity in an increasingly decentralized world, both for Aussies here and for gamers abroad. And you know, and so we're effectively preparing to launch an international network a long way ahead of schedule, and that wouldn't have been possible without RTI.
What we do domestically and terrestrially is not that dissimilar to what RTI does on a global scale. They're linking up cities across the world. We're linking up cities within Australia. When you've got a subsea cable operator working with a domestic fibre operator, the sky's the limit. I mean, you've effectively got unlimited capacity across the world and within the country. This is the difference when players like Nextop and RTI operate. We're very focused on customer and community outcomes with these types of projects. This is about really shaking things up. It's difficult to see what opportunities or what what new technologies other people will come up with as a result. But I do want to make damn sure that the internet and connectivity is not the limiting factor anymore. And if you take a place like Australia, it's been the limiting factor, stifling innovation for a long time.
A lot of the internet cables coming to Australia in the past have been with local operators and effectively a closed garden. Now we've got an independent cable coming to our shores, much more open, much more neutral, so a much different prospect for our local market. So we're delighted that this cable's come to Australia.
The cable and meeting Russ and the RTI team, I think it was a case of great timing and great opportunity.
The direct connectivity that this cable will provide is fantastic. And even more importantly is that we looked at a couple of different opportunities. Those opportunities were simply point to point. But from our perspective, the network that RTI has got to Asia, the United States, is fantastic and is far superior to the other options that we looked at. So the credibility of RTI was fantastic. The network that they brought to the table for the Sunshine Coast, Queensland and Australia was certainly much better than anything else.
The biggest point of differentiation for our region was to get an international submarine cable to the Sunshine Coast, because it was about future-proofing our economy and job growth. And that's been borne out because data demand is growing at 40% compound annual growth rate. You've got the biggest companies in the world, the over-the-top providers. Their data demand needs are growing. The introduction of 5G and other technologies just means that submarine cables and the bandwidth and the latency are just so important to the future economic growth of the region.
Just a bottom line vision or purpose of RTI is to solve problems and solve complicated problems. If they weren't complicated, they'd be solved, right? So what we're doing in our part of the world is to seek out and solve those difficult, hard to solve problems.
What gets cables across the finish line is the people. The people that have relationships that have gone on for decades. These people, these engineers across the world, they love to solve problems. The permitting experts, the marine experts, really everybody across the entire gamut of subsea expertise. And they're the ones that form this small community that thinks greater than politics and outside of the daily legal processes and the problems that each of our countries might have from time to time. They're the ones that stand firm, keep their relationships intact, and get the world's internet built.